All right, so Leo, thank you, Andrew, and inviting me to come over and talk a little bit about sales and marketing. I think it's a very important subject for startups to understand sales and marketing. So I just want to share some of my experience and see whether you guys can apply, some of the ideas that I have. All right. So I will just quickly start. It's pretty intensive materials, so feel free to take notes. All right. So first, I would like to talk about problems and solutions. This is not about sales and marketing. This is basically about in general business. All right. So I think for entrepreneurs, we have to fall in love with problems, because the bigger problem we can solve, the bigger opportunity that we can receive, or the bigger revenue generation that we can achieve, right? So that's the number one thing. So if there's no problem, then we will have no business. All right. So we need problems, and we need bigger problems for us to solve in order for us to move on. So here's an idea. Say, if I'm hungry, all right, and you're opening a restaurant, if you can provide me food, I'll be able to offer you any cash or transaction. There will be a transaction happening. All right. But if I'm not hungry, even though you have a restaurant, you have a 5-star or Michelin or McDonald's or whatever, basically there won't be any transactions, right? So there's the number one thing. You have to fall in love with problems. So most of the startup entrepreneur, when they come to me and, I have this problem, you have to embrace all the big problems. Because, I always look for problems that, I would be able to offer or solve. So that is one thing. Say, for example, if, you're offering hamburger. Say I'm very hungry. You are offering hamburger. But then I am a vegetarian. Right? Then there will be no transaction at all. Right? So you would need to think of, what kinds of problems you're trying to solve as well as an entrepreneur. So these are all the basic foundation of running a business. I think you have to embrace problems and try to solve a problem that is directly to your targeted audience, or what we move on to marketing, that you know what you are actually marketing. If you're vegan or vegetarian, this is not there will be no transaction at all. All right, and that's why you need to find a sort of right target group. It's not about hamburger or vegetarian. It's about finding the right target and market to the right person or right industry. So that's I think it's a basic 101 foundation. And then the second thing is you have to look for where's the market all the time. If you can see the market, which means you have to drill down to all the problems within that vertical industry. So when I first started my business, I only looked in a particular problem in a particular vertical. But nowadays, because I've been in the industry for 16 years, I'm trying to build an entire value chain and drill down into all the verticals along these value chains. So it would be always great for you to understand the entire value chain of your business model. Say, who is your supplier? Who is your customers? What is your business offering? What is your customer's customer? And if you can figure out the entire business value chain, you'll be able to play a longer term. For example, when we launched our mobile platform, that's called Hotmart, we have realized the entire mobile value chain of Hotmart is that when an advertiser like Nike, they have to find an agency, a 4H agency, to have media buy through a mobile operator, and the mobile operator would reach you guys and send SMS. And then this is actually a value chain, right? And then suddenly Steve Jobs came out with this iOS platform, right? Smartphone, iTunes. iTunes actually cracks down the entire value chain, because we no longer need operators to send out messages to you guys. We can just go through iTunes platform, through the apps, and reach the customers directly. So the entire operator business model is out. SMS is gone, because we don't have to go through the 5 operators in Hong Kong in order to reach out to customers. I just go through Steve Jobs, and I can reach out to you guys. So, and at Nike, they can reach out to iTunes. Agencies, they can also reach out to iTunes. We are aggregators, we can reach out to iTunes. And we also link up with all the media publishers. They can also reach out directly to iTunes. So the entire value chain cracks down, and we are fast enough to build all the value add backwards instead of going forward. So we left out the entire operator. And that is how we built the entire mobile advertising network. So try to find out all the value chains, front or back or silos. These are all the things that you can look at. So the marketplace is very important. All the value chain. All right. And so how do you build a revenue model for your business? I think there are two sides of the business nowadays. It's either you go out and raise funds, or you really find a business model that you can generate revenue. Right? So if you are doing models like accumulating users, traffic, or big data, for example, one of my big data company, Clarity, it's basically accumulating data. It's not a revenue model. It's about by the time I sold my company, that month we accumulated 1.5 billion data per month. That's like data accumulations, and we have to keep on running on servers, buying cloud servers with Amazon, and there's not much of revenue. But the other side is, my other business, like our mobile business or our agency business, it's all about finding the revenue model. Like how can we run the business and accumulate clients? So, so this is, what I would, say that, time and energy usually are limited, but money is everywhere. So what we have to do, the input of our time and energy, if it is smaller than money, then we'll be very tired, right? So what we have to do is actually this sign here. What we have to do is the time, we have to minimize our time and energy and maximize our output, which is money. Right? We minimize and maximize. Not maximize all our time and energy, because we only have 24 hours and we have only, a startup, maybe a co-founder, 2 or 3 people. That's all we have. So this sign is actually building a business model. Right? If you can build a business model, you'll be able to maximize or duplicate, or what we call automate, a sort of revenue generation model. Say, if I'm running a dentist clinic, even though there are 2,000 people lining up, at your door, a day you can only serve maybe 100 clients. That's it. You can only serve 100 clients. So it's because of the business model, you'll be able to, grow your business. So for a clinic, or for an accountant, or for professionals, I don't think they can build business models, in order to scale, unless it's a clinic franchise, right? Or a clinic that that they have 500 dentists, a retail chain, and they'll be able to grow that business. But as an individual person, I don't think they'll be able to grow. So you have to look into your business model, whether you are looking at a scalability model, or the business model is basically a one-to-one consultation. It's based on time, and it's based on your energy. Or, for example, my sister, she's in user experience consultation. So her model is tailor-made, one-on-one services. She has no desire to scale any of her business model or franchise or make it bigger. So that is her business model. She enjoys it, so it's fine. But there's no right or wrong. It's just that if you want to scale your business model, what should you do? To build your strategy, or what you call business or operation, or your team, it's all here. If the team is good, it is causing you a lot of time and energy, but the output is so little, like for my agency business, the more clients I get, the more effort and time I have to put in. That's an agency business or consulting business. But for my big data business, I only need to press a button and I can sell thousands and thousands of data. So that's a different model. So you have to find, a balance of your time and energy, and make sure that, the money side, which is the business, will be able to duplicate or triple or, compound or exponential, That is, the idea of this one. So, all right, the next one, which is, I think it's very important for you to understand capital and initiatives. So someone would say, do I need a lot of capital to start up? Right? I don't think it's about the capital. I think it's about the initiatives, or what we call leverage. Say if I have no money, $0, startup, I think it's all about value creation. So put this down, V, value, equals B over price, which means value equals benefit over price. All right. If you can increase your benefit without increasing the price, you will have a higher value. All right. So I always put this on my wall and ask my staff, like V equals B over P. Okay. How can we increase our benefit to our clients without increasing the price? Which means we offer better initiatives or better value to our customers or to our target audience. So I think this is very important when it comes to like capital. Like say most of my businesses, like all the businesses that I've started, I have not invested more than $30,000 US dollars. It's all below $30,000 US dollars. So that is my max capital. Or that money comes from people. So if you have a dream, if you have a vision, if you have a leadership, if you can, bring your idea out to the market, and people will be able to join you. So, if you have an initiative, people will follow. Just like, Elon Musk, for example. Like who in the room cares about going to Mars? I don't care. I don't care whether you guys would. But he has a vision that someone would just follow and pay him billions and billions of dollars, even though he failed, crashing his rockets. They keep on, paying him $150 million per shot.
He's burning money of the American taxpayers. That's
exactly.
what he's doing.
So it's all about initiatives. It's not about capital. So I think the value is what you have to provide as, entrepreneurs. So this is one. So here's an idea. In 2007, I went to McDonald's, and McDonald's would like to have all the digital TV screens and Wi-Fi. And we bid against 5 companies. We won the deal. And this is the cost, $15,000 times 300 displays in 210 McDonald's. And it's almost $4.5 million. Right? It's almost impossible for me to invest, right? Or to put in the capital, or to raise the capital. So what I've done was I went to Sony. So Sony asked me to, okay, this display is Bravia, the brand Sony Bravia. It's $15,000 Hong Kong, which is very expensive, right? Including the installation, the server and all that stuff is very expensive, which I don't think I would be able to afford. But I got the contract. So I said, I power leveraged Sony, and I said, hey, can you sponsor me all the display screens? And he said, no, they can't. And I said, okay, what is your best offer? Right? And he said, oh, you know what? We have these exhibition displays that they go out and exhibit it, and they couldn't sell to customers. They only sell to staff for 50% discount. And I said, okay, that's good. That's $7,500 per display, which immediately from $4.5 million, I saved like 50% of that. But I still don't have, that amount of like $2.25 million, right? So I went to the client and said, what if I only pay you $2,500? The rest of the $5,000, I'll give you the brand and all the McDonald's with Bravia, and also inside every hour, I'll give you 10 minutes. For all your brands, including Sony PlayStation, Sony Vaio, Sony Walkman, Sony whatever, for a year, for free. And they said yes. So I took $2,500 per display, and I installed not only in McDonald's, but also Pacific Coffee. So if you have been to Pacific Coffee, all the display screens is actually by Sony. So this is sort of the power leverage, and all my competitors came out. And they actually pay $15,000 per display. After 3 years, all my competitors are gone. Because they burn out like $10 million, $20 million, because they are actually paying, the value. They have capital. So as like we are like raw entrepreneurs, you just imagine that I don't have any money, right? No money at all. So it's all about initiatives. It's not about capital. Yeah, there's no capital here. Nothing. Okay? Don't ask me to invest any money. Then you will think of initiatives. Then you will have ideas. Then you will have negotiation power. And the best word in negotiation class that I've ever learned is you always ask, is this the best you can do? This saves you millions of dollars. So I went to this bar and this guy, give me a shot of whiskey, and I said, is this the best you can do? Give me another shot. So try to use this when you start to negotiate with your suppliers or customers or whoever that is offering to you. All right. So I saved a whole bunch of capital in this project, and this project ran for 10 years. Because the first year, actually the first month, I already had my ROI. Because it was Now TV in Hong Kong, they acquired the license of this Euro 2008, the soccer, right, the license. And they need to broadcast at nighttime to broadcast the football live game, right, at 3 a.m. in the morning. And there's only a few clubs in Boston, Lan Kwai Fong that open 24 hours. But McDonald's, they have 24 hours. So we signed a contract which is $1.6 million, and that covered our entire project. So that's it, basically leveraging twice, you run something for free. So we ran this for 4 years making profit, and the rest of the 6 years it wasn't profitable because we did all the ROI, we just put it there because the McDonald's came in and cut off our audio. So the display had no sound, and we had nothing to do but to just sit there and, that's bad side of the business that it's pretty bad. All right, another one is a wedding company that I started. So this company, it's a wedding.com. I raised $8 million back in 2007. So the idea concept was actually I spent 30,000 Hong Kong dollars per month for 10 months and asked a tech company, because he quoted me 300,000 Hong Kong, and I said I don't have the money. So I said, what if I give you, in 10 months, divide by 10 months, and I pay you monthly. So they helped me to build this sort of wedding portal, and the idea was that on NASDAQ, there's only 2 companies listed in wedding category. One is a US company called TheKnot.com. The other one is called Watabi. It's a Japanese company. And I said, we need some listed Chinese wedding company on NASDAQ. So I came up with this concept, ideas, initiatives. And then somehow, I don't know why investors didn't invest into my McDonald's, but they invested into this. So we raised $8 million and went. But then I totally screwed up because $8 million is nothing in China. So I went in, I launched a campaign in Beijing. I spent 2 million RMB, which is a one-day event, right? 2 hours. 2 million is big. And then at the same day, same night, same month, same year, Condé Nast, GQ magazine, the men's magazine, they launched 50 million that month. Just one event, they launched and spent 50 million. Their P&L is 700 million. And that was a big lesson. I thought that raising $8 million US is enough for me to run 3 years in China. But then China, spending 2 million a night, I can't even hear the name from media of my own company. So make sure when you raise fund, you know what market you are in. So, make sure that, don't go too big. Because when I raised the amount of money, I went to Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Hong Kong, 4 offices. From 4 people, we scaled up to 8 people. And then my burn rate was about 3.6 million Hong Kong per month. So we burned so quickly that the burn side, it's on the paper, like you have to burn. But the revenue is not coming in as fast as on the paper. So everything is on the paper. So anyways, but how we make the brand so powerful in China was that we did a ranking on this domain.com, and then I ranked all the top 10 hotels. So I ranked, I think, Mandarin Oriental Hong Kong top 5 in Hong Kong. And suddenly I received a call. And the lady was from Maldives. She called me and said, well, Andy, how grateful that you rank us our hotel top 5 in Hong Kong as a wedding venue. And I said, oh yeah, thank you. And she said, oh, you know what, I just came to Hong Kong, I know nothing about the wedding industry. Possible for us to, join partnership, to do some sort of bridal show. And I said, yeah, why not? And then, because Mandarin Oriental, the boss is a French guy. So, and I said, okay, we'll never be able to get Cartier because we're nothing. We're like a local startup, right? So I picked Mandarin Oriental and I went to Cartier and I said, hey, Cartier, Mandarin wants to partner with you. And they said, wow, because Mandarin is here, Cartier, the shop is right there, right? And Landmark. And they said, yeah, let's talk. So we successfully asked them to sponsor 300,000 Hong Kong dollars to Mandarin Oriental for us to place a bridal event at Mandarin Oriental. And I put my logo, 大日子, 普通话, 大日子, Cartier, and Mandarin Oriental. So, because co-organizers, right? Sponsors and co-organizers, 1, 2, 3. And then suddenly the entire market just thought that this is marketing, right? Branding position. Say if you are in AI or whatever startup, just find some partners and lift up your brand. And then suddenly the entire wedding industry, oh wow, what is this company? Is it a China company? Is it a local company? Is it a startup company? Is it a spin-off from a conglomerate or whatever? They have all the imagination. And then that is how we position ourselves as a sort of luxury wedding hall, because we have Cartier, Mandarin Oriental, and us. So this is, how you power leverage sometimes. If you are too small or you are, at the early stage, you need ideas to leverage. So there's a power leverage. And of course, the second leverage was Cartier after the event. They don't want to invest any money in our .com platform. Right? That is 2007, 2008. They said they want print. And then we said, it's 2008. She's the diving queen, Guo Jingjing in China, #1 gold medal. It was like right after the Olympics. And we said, we went to Cartier and said, it's boring to have cover girls that is always celebrity. Why don't we get like China? Everyone knows about Guo Jingjing, the diving queen. It's like Roger Federer. and we said, if you like to sponsor her, you have to take our back cover, the advertising of the back cover, and our online for 18 months. And they said yes. So I have an anchor client supporting our back cover and our online for 18 months.
How did you get Guo Jingjing?
What did you get?
Oh, Guo Jingjing is just, and someone thought that, I know this government or I'm this political power thing, but it's actually my staff surprised me. That's it. So random. Well, so random. Yeah. And she said, and she didn't agree at the beginning, but we said, it's Cartier, and she said, yeah, why not? So that came along, and we sort of leveraged, and the brand went up so quickly. Right. So sometimes when you want to build from small, you want to hyper growth. It's all about branding. And for Hot Mop, I mentioned about the Hot Mop startup. So when I first started, I power leverage. I went to OpenRice. OpenRice is like the food finder, the most highest traffic in Hong Kong. And we back in 2008, if you want to build this app, it's $500,000. And of course, OpenRice would say it's too expensive. And we say, it's fine, 50% discount, we'll pay the rest. But we need to secure this banner ad here for 3 years. And my team will bring in advertising for you, and we'll do 50% split. And they said, yes, okay. We'll build a free app with an app with 50% discount, and then we bring in advertising. And then because it's open rights, we bring out to all the advertisers and they think it's new. They all put in money. Within the first 3 months, we break even. And they also break even. They spend $250,000. The first 3 months, we pay them off. And starting at every year, every month actually, every month we're paying them over $1 million. Just on this banner. Because they have high traffic. So sometimes when you want to ride on something big, you have to like discount yourself sometimes. But we don't discount to everyone. We discount to like, wow, this is really like the big brands, right? So big high traffic, big brands, whether they're publishers or shopping mall or retail or real estate, you can negotiate and discount and try to leverage. So we leverage the traffic and they leverage our sales network. So we are offering our initiatives, which is like, there were no ads in Hong Kong actually. We're the first one that built this app. And then after 3 years, they renew another 3 years and renew another 3 years. So we had 9 years of relationship with OpenRice. Until last year, they decided to do it on their own. And I said, okay, that's fine. Please go on your own because it's 9 years already. So we actually extracted most of them. Because in long term, for them, it doesn't make sense to give 50% to us. I mean, at the beginning, at the first few years, they have to build their own mobile team or mobile network or track all those things. They do need to spend a lot, but now, they can just easily hire their own team. So that is another power leverage. All right. Make sense? No. That play around, just think. Imagine your whatever savings or capital. It's OPM, others people money, everything like banks, friends, family members, venture capital, angels. It's all about how initiatives, like how creative you are. I'm not talking about scamming or scandals. Right? I'm talking about really creating real business models, solving the problem in the market. Like for these platforms like Hot Media, Hotmart, like it's media it's all my business is like advertising business, right? We create value, we need traffic. All right. Traffic is number one. Target audience. Like this is like mobile. Like everyone is like mobile. The reason of compare Hotmart and Hot Media, this one is really targeted. Like McDonald's, 15 minutes in a McDonald's. But the traffic is the highest in the world. McDonald's ranked number 2 in the world, Hong Kong, with the highest traffic. The first is Tokyo. 280 million traffic footprint in McDonald's for Hong Kong, such a small area. Tokyo is 300 million. So we say, if we sign McDonald's, we don't even have to consider Maxim or Cafe de Carol or all these KFC things, right? We just need one. So that is like, understand your target audience, your traffic. And then for wedding market, Hong Kong is so small, 50,000 newlyweds. But we said, let's go China, because China is 10 million. But 10 million wedding couples means 20 million people, right? It's group and brides. But then, we failed this business because this business is not a snowball business, right? Snowball effect. Every bride comes in, wow, I love your stuff. I'm married. I'm sick of it. And they're gone. Unless they divorce and remarry. But, the case is not high. Even though they divorce and get remarried, they don't want to come back and, also. So this business model screw us up totally. In e-commerce, you need about 30% monthly repeated customers in order for you to grow. All right. So every 100 customers you come in, if you can retain 30%, the next month you get another 100, you get 30, so you get 60 accumulated, and then you get 100, you get 30. So the 300 you are running on business, 90 you are recurring. Then you can snowball your business. For us, we cannot snowball because we have to spend $100, accumulate, like traffic keeps per user, keeps on coming in, and they leave. And we have to spend, and they leave. But the good thing about this model is that we can have a steady business for a long term.
But no growth.
Because every month.
But no growth.
The growth is only by opening cities. Yeah. Right? I can go to Chengdu, Ningbo, Hangzhou, go to everywhere to scale. But each city, if I want to scale, I have to raise about 3 to 8 million RMB to scale at one city. and to compete with all these local competitors, which is very difficult. And that is why almost running for 8 years, we went to a sort of deep fall in 2014. Hong Kong, we had this umbrella revolution, the protests against the central, and all the retail sales dropped 75%. But all our clients, it's like Cartier and Cleave Tiffany, all the whatever marks, the beers, they all cut down to zero. So I called my Chow Tai Fook, which is one of our biggest clients, Drew, and I said, he said, Andy, bad news, we have to cut the budget. And I said, how much? 100%. For how long? I don't know, because I'm getting fired. And I said, what about next year, next quarter? Sorry, I can't tell you, because the entire thing is getting fired. And 3,000 shops, they cut down 1,500. So that's how bad it was, right? So we screw up the entire, business, and then we say, well, I've been married. I started this business because I got married. And I was very depressed. I was telling my wife, it's our 10th anniversary, and said, I'm sick of this business. Okay, let's close it down. So we closed down the business. But maybe someday we'll come back. Who knows, right? But it's a failure. But just to tell you, along the way, this tells you a business revenue model doesn't make sense for us. We thought of, in the States, the Knot.com, they did listing. They charge $200 per supplier to list. But in China, we won't pay you a penny to list, right? So that didn't work out. So we have no listing model. We try to do like package resell, like Groupon things, like suppliers give us, we resell to our traffic. But there's no repeated business. There's no e-commerce business. We try to plug in our cosmetic in, and that didn't work out because cosmetic is a big market, wedding is a niche market. We try to bring in more customers from Cosmopolitan or Elle Magazine, and they said, well, Andy, we'll only advertise on your platform, June's Bride, not the rest 11 months. They'll only dump into Cosmopolitan. So this is a very tough business that we went into, and this was when we as entrepreneurs, as always now, never give up, never give up, never give up. This mentor says never give up, I'll never give up. And I never give up with this. And I hold it for 10 years, and now I felt stupid about, So, yes.
How did you overcome the process of scaling a business?
It was pretty bad. It was like, first is it's not about money. First is how do you lay off your staff, right? But the most painful is like laying off your staff. Because they have been working so hard day and night, overtime, and you have to lay out. In 2012, my first layout was from 8 people down to 13. So that was terrible, all the offices. And that, nothing much you can do, right? Because you have all the investors behind. Basically, that's why, later on, because of this story, I'm really afraid of raising funds. Because the funding, they sit in the CFO, they sit in the board of directors, and it's all about, numbers. And they don't have empathy to my staff. And then, I just felt like an asshole, right? Like firing all my staff and, sorry, there's nothing I can do. Here's the letter and get the fuck out, right? That kind of stupid boss that I have to be. And that is one. And the other is, because we're a media business, we have to face the media, and we have to face all the clients and settle all the billings, which we have 400 clients. And you have to go one by one, all the big ones. But you know what is so good about this? After I closed down, all the magazines, almost 80% of the magazines closed down. And then all these big bosses came to me and said, Andy, you're so smart. How can you predict that the print doesn't work? You close so fast. We burn out another 100 million because we stick for another year. And they thought that I have 4 sites. So yeah, I think overcoming staff is number one. Overcoming industry, overcoming your clients. Because you still have to come out and get a job, or start another business. You always want to be responsible to all the matters that the failing things, So we try to take care of all the clients, make sure all media is positive, and then all the staff, they are happy. So we refer some business to our, some jobs to our staff. So this is, the challenge that we have. All right, so how to get what you want without paying for it, right? This is leveraging, power leveraging, okay? So the biggest challenge with most people who have access to financial resources is they think how they can, once I have this, I'll spend it, right? So this is the problem, right? The biggest challenge is when you have money, you spend it. So, and then instead, by spending time thinking creatively first, you will always uncover a way to create enough value or initiatives so that using money becomes a second option, not a first. So that's why I say B equals B over P, all right? That is always first, money is always second. Even if you go to MIT entrepreneur programs or Stanford, they always give you this envelope, with $5 and ask you to go out and start up your business. 24 hours later, come back and see how much you guys have used the money inside the envelope. That is the capital, which is only $5. So most of the Stanford startups, they went out. You can search this in Google, and then none of them open up the envelope. They just go out and create value. They went out and lined up, in heavy traffic restaurants, try to, car wash and pump the bikes, all these things. So, make sure you have enough ideas and initiatives, not the money first. And I don't need money, I need a better strategy, right? You need a better strategy. So, imagine this. Here we have a business, we raise $1 million US. Cool, right? And here we get $1 million US from clients, customers. In normal business, usually it's 10%. 10% net profit. Now, this business burned out $1 million from the investors. All right. Here, because of customer, we create value, we create the market, we have staff, we enjoy, we have 100,000 net profit, 100,000 net profit, 10%. But here, no profit, it's minus 1 million. The next year, what happens? This side, you have to do $10 million business in order to cover your first year loss, right? Because it's $1 million loss. 10% net profit of a business, you need to do about $10 million business to cover your $1 million loss. But here, next year, you just need to do $1 million business, and then you get another 100 million. Or if you do 2 million, you have a 200% growth. That's the difference of fundraising. So once you fundraise, I think my personal experience is don't spend the money. If you raise $1 million, spend 10% of it and keep on raising. Because the investors come in, it's not for your business, it's for the capital investment return. So you just have to keep on raising the valuation or pumping up the business or the story or the whatever vision. Because it's a musical chair game until the end of the day. So that's the idea, right? Make sense? Once you go in fundraising, it's not a happy game. It's like keep on, for example, we work.
Uber.
Airbnb, right? It's like keep on fundraising, raising up the valuation. And my conspiracy theory of Uber, why Travis left, is because the valuation is too high. And they're carrying too much of lawsuits, maybe. Google is suing them. The only thing in order to have Uber to be acquired by someone is to have some tragic happen, which is at the zero left. The valuation could be lower, and maybe Google or Facebook or someone can buy them off. But otherwise, who would buy a $63 billion company? And with all these lawsuits, they couldn't go IPO. So that's I don't know. Let's think about this later on. But once you go fundraising, go all the way. But when I raise the fund, the question investors VC would ask, what is your burn rate? And you say 100,000. And they go, okay, let's talk 10 months later. Because they always want to come in at a lower valuation. until you burn out the money, right? And they can come in, say if your valuation is 5 million, of course they want to come in at 3.5, right? They wouldn't come in at 8 million or 10 million. So they ask you for the burn rate. But if your burn rate is like, oh, my burn rate is like 10,000, I still have 100 months, right? And it's okay. Then you would be able to talk with the investors. But otherwise, it would just say, what is the burn rate? And when I raise my funds, like I have like 8 million left in my bank for my wedding investors. But my burn rate is like 3.5 million. So 2.5 months I'm dead, and the investors, every investor I met, okay, let's talk 2.5 months later. They don't even talk to you when you don't have the money. So only raise fund when you have the money. Don't raise fund when you don't have the money. I think that is the idea of fundraising. Yeah. And then find your strategy by asking how I can add value. I think that's the 3 basic things. If you want to run a business, if you want to fundraise, go fundraise. If you want to go run a business, run a business. But don't do both. My mistake with the wedding company is I raise a fund and I use all the money to build the business. But building a business will never be fast enough to cover the valuation. My valuation of the company is $18 million when I raised my first $8 million. And I was like, wow, okay, even though I use all the $8 million, I won't be able to create that value. With $8 million cash to provide $18 million valuation, even though it's like less than 2.5 times, but it's almost impossible when you think of a real business case. Imagine this, right? If this is the case, then everyone will give you $1 million. If I give you $1 million, tomorrow, next year, you give me 1.1. Realistically, usually people buy bonds, it's like 6%, right? They buy into real estate property, it's 12%. Now investing into a startup, you get like 120% return. It's almost impossible. But then that's the story. It is possible only if you keep on bringing in new investors, raising Series A, B, C, D round. But otherwise, you are just tricking yourself. So you have to be extra careful. Because most of the investors, they don't care. Because the portfolio is like 40 companies. It's $1 billion fund, 40 companies. They just need to hit one Twitter or one 2 companies. So you as an entrepreneur, you don't want to be one of that, pool of 40, that 38 or 39 companies there, right? You want to be cautious. So when I was in the Web Summit, which is like the RISE conference in Hong Kong, I went to Dublin. And I sneak out, I went to Guinness, the beer Guinness, walked into Guinness. So look at the floor, there's a contract by Mr. Guinness. The company of Guinness is 365 years, and I was looking at the contract. You know how many years Guinness signed the contract of the land of usage with the government? You know how many years? 9,000 years. What? And I was like, that changed my entire perspective. So it is about, am I starting a business to build legacy, or am I building a business to come quick and go 3 years, 5 years time? So some of my business, like my big data business, my mobile business, I've decided to, okay, this one, I'll just go quick, right? 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, exit, bye-bye. But my own business, MDM business, I think it's my sort of legacy that I have to build. And once I step out and think for 100 years, everything shifts. Your mindset, your marketing plan, your ideas, your vision, your team, your speed to market, your competitors, everything shifts. So all my competitors are being acquired by all the other market big players, and I said, okay, fine, because before that, Mr. Guinness, I just felt that, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so small, everyone's being acquired, I'm not, But now I feel great because I'm trying to build a legacy. So this, you have to think of what model or what business you want to get in. All right. How much time do I have?
As long as you want.
Okay. All right. So, any questions so far? Nothing. Let's digest a little bit and we go through quick. So, 3 keys to making it work. All right. Make sure what you're offering is of use of the other person or business. Think of customer centric. Don't think of product-centric, service-centric, or brand-centric. Think of, because nowadays it's not about product, service, or, brand. And it's all about value creation, choices, all types of different, values that we'll be able to offer in the market. All right. Make sure the perceived value of what you're offering is higher than what they would normally get in cash. All right. Say for my business case, my perceived value of having this Bravia logo or Sony logo in McDonald's facing 280 million traffic, that is a perceived value bigger than the amount that they are offering me. Like the old display, Frankly speaking, I'm a little bit pissed off that they give me old display and I still have to pay $2,500. Right? I should have get it for $0. But I couldn't negotiate down to that. But it's a good story, like 1/6 of the cost. So this is make sure the perceived value. Like my perceived value for Cartier is the Super Wojinjin Star, right? It's a perceived value. There's no value at all because I didn't even pay for her to shoot on the cover. For her, it's Cartier as a perceived value. So it's all perceived value. There's nothing. But I'm sort of in middle getting all these putting together. All right. Always deal with the people who can deal. So if they cannot make a decision, then basically nothing much you can do. Right. You have to say, if I'm dealing with a marketing hat and she is not the deal maker, I have to submit all my homework and let her, propose or present this to her board. Because I didn't understand this until very late stage of my startup. I went to my best friend. My best friend used to be the head of Nokia, head of business development and marketing. And I said, I've been starting up for 5 years. Why until now you support me on bringing leads, And you know what my friend said to me? He said, back in a couple years ago, you are just a startup. If I, propose you to my boss, my job, I might get fired if you don't do a good job, right? And I was like, okay, you think that way? And yeah, he said, yeah, of course. So it's always is about making that person, because he's not the deal maker, right? So you have to make her like, wow, the boss will say, wow, you picked the right company, right? You picked the right supplier, you picked the right startup, you picked the right entrepreneur. I love you guys, and she get a raise, or otherwise, she'll be in deep trouble. So make sure, if she is not the deal maker, you have to provide all this stuff, right? And so Nokia came in and say, hey, Andy, with this web project, it's we have this budget, so quote us. So I quoted them $200,000, and then our supplier quoted $400,000, and then they won the deal. And I said, what's going on? And he said, our budget is $300,000. We asked them to discount, so the deal was $300,000. You only quoted $200,000. And I said, make sure $100,000, I don't know where to spend it. So you'll get the deal. You get it, Andy? I said, I really don't get it. So usually the clients, when they have to, towards the end of the year, they have to spend all the budget. Otherwise, the next year they wouldn't be able to get extra budget. So they usually overspend. So I was like, oh, okay, now I know the rule. So yeah, so this is one thing. And I always talk about mastery of time. Have I told you guys about mastery of time? Oops. So I think, we only have 24 hours. So use the best time of weekends, because 52 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is 104 days. 104 days is extra 3.5 months. So I always compare this game, right? You go to a casino, you bet $6,000. You won it, you get $6,000. You lose it, you're negative $6,000. The difference is $12,000. The difference. So imagine your friend is your entrepreneur partner, co-partner, or whatever other competitors. They're playing Saturday and Sunday. They play at their negative 104. but you are plus 104, that's totally 208. 208 is like 7 months. 7 months of difference. So multiply this by 10 years, that's 7 years.
But you need to love what you do to do it.
Of course.
If
Yeah.
you don't love what you do, you cannot do it.
So I would not say it's work-life balance. I would say it's work-life integration. So you have to integrate, like my wife, my daughter, my partners and friends, they are all integrated into my life, into my entrepreneurial life. Otherwise, you'll be juggling about this, work-life balance, work-life balance. So that's why I've been starting up different businesses, because even though when I get into the gym, and I would seek for opportunities, hey, where do you want to advertise? So I'm like, working gym out, but then at the same time they are my clients, so I'm working. So that kind of idea. Or I went to this restaurant eating dinner, and I said, oh, is there opportunity for me to invest a little bit, to chip in or help you or to bargain, negotiate. I help you to run advertising, you give me some shares. That's okay, So when I'm eating in a restaurant, I'm also checking out my business. So that's my idea. All right. So imagine you have 5 most important things a day, and you multiply that by 365. Right? That's 1,800 and something. Very important things. So you don't have to do a lot. You multiply this with your co-partner or your staff. That's a lot of important things to do. So, study shows that we spend only like 20% of our time. Represents 80% of all the things. So 80%, 20% is easy to say, but usually I think it's very important for you to understand sort of what is the 20% represents the entire game. That's very important. All right. So I have one more, which is the marketing. I want to show you. So here it's marketing. So we talk about value creation. Now, it's building your engine. Imagine your competitor or other startups, they have this engine and you don't. So just imagine that. And it looks very overwhelming, but I'll just explain. These are the stuff that we have been already doing. We built our website, our mobile site, we do our SEO, emails, we send EDMs with our blogs, e-commerce, YouTube channels, with our social media like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all done, with our videos, white papers, PowerPoint, blogs, and all these infographics things. These are all the things that we have been doing, right? And all these stuff is to reach out to outbound your customers, your target audience will come inbound, they will search all the stuff. But what is more important is to actually capture all the data and put it into analytical engine. So of course you have Google Analytics, right? So okay, fine, Google Analytics. You have marketing automation programs. Okay, you can do that. You have your CRM with Salesforce, for example. Yeah, let's hit that. You have your content management platform like WordPress, for example. Let's do that. And then bundle it and then split it into different, workforce, be it yourself or your team. So this is how you build a sort of digital engine in order for you to smooth out the process of delivery. And trust me, it is best to build it right at the beginning when you start up. Because for companies like us, now I want to deploy this to my team, it's almost impossible. Because no one will listen to me. Like Salesforce, MailChimp, or Makio, Adobe, you name it. No one would follow. Asana, Slack, Only one platform that I successfully deployed to my team is Workplace by Facebook. It's a internet thing, and that is successful. But the rest, I couldn't calculate all these metrics coming in, like sales leads, sales funneling. How many proposals put out, how many quotations, how many signed documents. These and all the reporting from Soho CRM, for example. It's very hard to implement afterwards. So implement up front, because it's not expensive, right? It's like $20 per user per month, but at least you get the ball rolling. When people join in, you make a little bit of money, you add on the cloud services. Now, these are all in cloud. So I think that is important to track down your entire business, all the metrics. like number of sales coming in, number of repeated customers. And I think there are three ways of increasing your customers. All right. One is to increase the number of your customers, right? Second is to increase on your rate, right? The rate card, the charge fee. Thirdly is to increase the frequency, repeated frequency. Okay, that's the basic growth of your business. So if you ask a sales or yourself to grow the business 30%, you say, say 100K, you have to grow 130,000. It seems very hard, sometimes growing 30%. But what you can do is to grow each of these by 10%. You add it together, it's 33%. All right. You add these 20%, 20%, 20% together, you grow 72.5%. You add 33%, 25%, 33% of each of these, you grow 150%. So everything you have to measure and calculate. And that is how you can grow your own business quickly. And I think it's all about understanding your customer. So this is the marketing side. So imagine your target audience. Always think of the pain, frustrations, fears, and implication, and the goals and desires, and dreams and aspirations. If you can figure this out, you don't have to talk too much of your products or service or brand. You have to, customer focus, try to solve the problem first, provide content, provide information, and then, start to get engaged with the customers. So, and let me skip through this. This is the marketing stack. Marketing stack, the concept came up from this guy called Scott Brinkers, right? Martech.com, a guy from Silicon Valley. So marketing stack is basically nowadays, you know why Uber scales so fast? Because Uber, the hosting is Amazon, all right? The SMS is Twilio. The Mac is Google. The email is SendGrid, right? And all these API plugins is basically what is Uber, right? So Uber is basically, I have a lot of fucking APIs and I just focus on what I do good myself. So marketing stack is a similar idea. Imagine you have Salesforce, you can plug in your Facebook, you can plug in your Lakido marketing automation, you can plug in your CRM, your dashboard, your SMS gateway, all these stuff. Like you stack it together like hamburger. So, this is, like a stack solution. You have content, email, automation, CRM, social, all together. So this is like a single point solution usually. It's all in different parts. It's not linked together. So if you can automate the process, including, for example, Xero, right? Finance software, Xero, XERO. Xero is now linked to HSBC, right? The Xero also have, you can link it to Salesforce. So from sales, Google search to CRM, drop-in sales to your program, issue, invoice financing to your account management, it should be all automated. So it took me 2 years to integrate accounting software. You know why? Because most of the accounting guys, in Hong Kong, Asia, they usually work very hard for 2 weeks, and they, lay off, they just, relax for 2 weeks, right? So now, you ask them to do Xero, it's real time, right? So they don't want to change, and I said, if you don't change, you're fired. So, and then they start to do the real time. So I can see all my finance on my mobile, right? It's because as a boss or owner, when every time I see my P&L, balance sheet or cash flow, it's like a month ago or a month and a half ago. Right? It doesn't make sense. How can I run a business with past data? I don't even have forecasts. So now I have my real time, I have my forecast, I can take my decision right here, right at the moment. and change something in the future. Most business fail is because the cash flow run out, but the cash flow they're looking at backwards, not forward. So if you can build this with financial software, it's something that you can think of. So social, you can link it all. Yes.
Sorry, have you know about Wave? It's another financial.
Wave, no,
Wave.
I haven't used it. Yeah. There are quite a few. Yeah. I think Zero is the most popular.
Yeah.
I think Zero is having 500,000 users a quarter, growing so rapidly. So you can always link everything together. So, for example, internal communications, we used to use Slack, right? And then we use Asana, and then we use this Time Doctor, and then it's so complicated. And then now we are using Facebook Workplace, and that because it's so Facebook, it's look and feel the same as what Facebook. Everyone just jump in and keep on talking and chatting with each other without like pushing. But the rest, I have to push. So I have to, hey, please use it.
Yeah, but with Facebook, they just go to their normal profile and jump on Facebook.
We have an internal thing. Yeah. So it's a workplace. Right? So that one is good for culture building. So we don't put our project management there. So we have Basecamp, we have Asana, all these things. So, but still, you have to link all the API, put it together. We tried HubSpot, but by the time we reach a level, it's so expensive. So we cut that off. Salesforce, too expensive. So we moved, because when we, as a small company, usually Salesforce is good, right? Because we only have like 5 people, it's still affordable. But when we scale to like 30, 50 people, Salesforce is super expensive. So we decided to jump in, and we jumped to Soho. But Soho now is getting more expensive. And then we, try to jump to Pipedrive. You have heard of sales funneling. So there's a whole lot of software. But pick the right one that you can use, and pick those with API that you can connect each another. So this is, sort of a marketing stack. This is a stack for, a company. Basically, it connects everything from Slack, to Dropbox, to Trello, Google Analytics, Salesforce, Marketo. Automation is a very important thing, I think. Let me show you this. All right. So here is like from awareness to lead generation to nurturing to deal close to data collection. This is all the stat that you can link up. But I think it's a little bit overwhelming for me. So usually I just break them into my own business operation. So finance, accounting, that's Zero. Invoicing, we use the software sister company of Zero, so that comes in. CRM, we use Soho. Soho, we link with our email, which is MailChimp. And then we have our WordPress, and we have Google Analytics, or we have the SEO. So we just streamline by our own sort of interpretation. But these are like bigger companies, of course, that they can link everything together. So find those with APIs. Salesforce grows so fast because they are open API. 3,000 APIs available. Like almost everything plugs into Salesforce. So they are winning all these Microsoft, IBM, they're winning all these businesses. And of course, you can always look in this like customer data management, customer data analytics, digital KPIs, campaign management, journey builder, reporting dashboard, integration with the DPM, digital management platform. So each of them have pros and cons. So you can map them all out. You can type in Google and search for marketing stack or CRM systems that find the best you can.
If you were
Yeah.
and if you were starting all over again,
Yeah.
from ground zero,
Yeah.
building your company or building a new company, or say you were in position of closing that 5, what 3 to 5 technology platforms when it comes to marketing and sales would you say?
All right.
I definitely would use.
Definitely marketing automation. So there are few that I would recommend. One is called Makito, Infusionsoft, or Autopilot. So basically, it's you send out an EDM or email to your clients. It follows through. Like every 2 days, it sends you it sends out immediately auto reply. If you don't reply, it sends you another email. If you reply, it sends you another email. So it goes on a journey, right? So that's called marketing automation. And I think that is what we're missing for, it's creating the content that you can dissect into micro segmentation. And with that data, you can funnel through, just like Amazon. When you purchase a product, they will have recommended products, and at the bottom, and they will send you recommended emails. It's all from that automation. The point is, running my sort of B2B or B2C business is always very manual. Say if Cartier wants a promotion, I just send it out to everyone as a blast mail, and then I calculate the conversion rate. That's it. There's no A/B testing. There's no segmentation. So I think marketing automation is one. And then, be it Salesforce or Zoho, there are sales funneling. I've been to this sort of stage that we're ramping up our exponential growth, and I have realized it's not about the business. It's all about probability, which means that, okay, if I ask my team A, hey, grow 200%, and they said, oh, boss, no way, impossible. But if I talk to my team B, send out 2 million quotations this month, and make sure you don't get any due back. 0, for example. If you get any due back, I'll punish you. And then, of course, if you send out 2 million, say if the quota is 2 million, you send out 2 million, you'll never be able to reach that quota, right? So, but if my quota is only 200,000, they send out 2 million, they might be able to reach 10%. And I said, is it possible that you get nothing back? It's almost impossible. So the probability game is we have realized after so many years, like high season, we got 50% close. Bad season, 10%. So now our target is all based on the probability of the season. And then we track all that, and we have these sales funneling. For example, this month, I'm asking my entire team to push out 40 million quotations out. And we're expecting about 25% return. So that is how we have to push it. So it's not about nurturing the clients, saying good things, giving them mooncakes. Those are separate things. But the first thing is when we look at our sales target, they've never sent out that quality of proposal or the amount of proposal. Then how can you expect your team to come back with that sales return? So we just say every time we meet a client, just push out a quotation. I don't care. Just send out a quotation first, right? Because we're at a ramp-up stage that we want to, break a record for our company. So we've realized if we can do that probability game, then automation is very important. Having sales funneling. So Vinny, how can you track down all the numbers? It's all by probability and by stages, right? So if you go and Salesforce and Zoho, they give you all the stages. They give you a default percentage. Like first time meeting, 10%. You send a quotation, 40%. You start negotiation, it's 70%. It's final tuning is 9%. So we play around with that mapping. We used to have like Excel, and that didn't work so well. So now with all these information coming through and tracking it down, funneling, and we can also know which product we are, having the most profit as well. So I think that is sales. And then what else? SEO. Because I hired a growth hacker, super expensive. Some of you know him. So I hired them to growth hack my entire value chain, and then I fired my entire sales team. Because I no longer need a sales team to cold call or call sales. It's all funneled through me. So I'm receiving like 20 deals a day. I can't even handle it. So there's no point of having sales. So we only hire customer service instead of sales. So I think SEO is also very important. Our SEO on our site is 100%. So I've been looking. I think it is important for you to understand your website, whether I'm not sure what is your business, but if you can like bring in traffic from Google or from search engine, and your SEO ranking is 100%. If you type like digital agency in Hong Kong, I think we are on the first page. To take out all the ads, we are on site. And the first one is actually a content model. So we are basically number one. So that helped a lot. That brings some leads. So the first month, about maybe 2 years ago, the first month we ranked on Google page 1. I got a deal from Subway. So I paid this growth hacker $50,000 a month. And Subway came in $1 million deal. And I said, okay. I can cover my expenses for his entire year of salary. So I think growth hacking, it's very important. Like, how can you tweak and make sure your SEO is working, your content is working, traffic is coming through, and you see once your Google comes in, your sales pipeline funnel goes through, and then you keep on nurturing and provide the right content, usually you get a pretty good result. And then, I think these are the three major things: automation, CRM, and SEO, and of course your website, right? Your website is the place where you capture all the information. So that one, make sure to build a really good website that you can capture data, email, information. And the last one is, if you ask me, the fifth one is finance, real-time accounting. That changed the entire business model. Like when I used to look at my P&L, now it's August 7th, right? Usually I would get my July P&L on the 10th. And then, you're just in review, right? There's nothing you can do. And now I can track up-to-date transactions. So these are the 5 things you can look into. Yeah, so that's it. How you can power leverage. Make sure ideas work through marketing. There's a whole lot of things. For example, social media. There are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But I think as entrepreneur nowadays, you have to jump forward to get your face up front. Right? Nowadays, it's all about thought leadership. The marketing is actually you. If you look at Tesla as Elon Musk, Virgin is Richard Branson, Bill Gates for Microsoft, Jeff Bezos for Amazon. It's all about the head thinker. Thought leadership is driving business pretty strongly in the past few years, and I think that you should if you are the founder of the company, better push yourself out to get more exposure, more brand credit, more being more exposed rather than focusing too much on products, because people nowadays want to get in touch with the humanity or the emotions of the business as well, rather than just the product and services. So thought leadership is something where you can challenge the market, challenge the status quo, lead the market forward with a little bit of risk taking. That is a kind of marketing strategy as well, rather than just like, if I teach you, put something on social media, that kind of marketing is, I don't think it will work. So marketing 101 is like, always do A/B testing. Some mentee doing A/B/C/D testing. So they put out like 4 posts on Facebook, test all the conversion. Out of the 4, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, pick the 4%. So if you have a database of say 10,000, you only pick 1,000 out and split it into 4, like 250 each. Do A/B/C/D testing, get the highest, and deploy it to the rest of the 9,000. So that's how you do all the ABCD testing. I think A/B testing is not enough nowadays. So do ABCD testing, and that is like I think the basics of marketing. Just test it out, test it until you find because you are calculating. You have all the numbers. Once you find it, the right sort of conversion percentage, repeat it, automate it, and you don't have to. And until you see there's a drop rate, and you change again, and you come out with another set of ABCD. That's how we do marketing nowadays. But there's no absolute what kinds of strategy we're looking at this marketing thing.
The experimentation is vital.
Yeah.
You need to experiment.
Yeah, it's all about experience because it's changing so fast, like Snapchat or all these live stream coming out.
In your case, you worked in China, you
Yeah.
worked here in Hong Kong. Does it change? Are they like totally different markets?
China is totally different. China, you have to have this tax audit every month. Hong Kong is once a year, right? It's totally changed. You have to pay tax on expenses in China. Here you only pay tax on the profits, right? So it's different. Media business, you need to get licensed in China. Hong Kong, you don't need a license. You do big data. China is now state-owned asset. Here it's not. There's no rules and regulation. So if you want to do China business, better be in China. Because Hong Kong is not a jump board for China business. If you go export, then that's another case. Leverage the China manufacturing resources and export out, that's totally fine. If you want China money coming in, that's another different thing. Yeah.
If you were, once again, actually starting a new business, the first salesperson that you bring on board, what would you look for in that person?
I think the first salesperson have to be yourself. Then you can demonstrate, right? And I think it's all about, there are different types of salespeople. I'm not a good sales, so I always rely on hiring sales. But I tell you, at the end of the day, I haven't encountered what we call awesome sales, because it's even though he's from a good company or a branded company, comes in, hey, I have this. I hired this lady. I didn't hire her for 2 years. She still came back. She's the head of Groupon Hong Kong. She did from 0 to 700 million. That lady, right? And I said, I won't hire you. She's so confident. Why don't you hire me? And I said, well, you're asking the restaurant for coupons. Why don't you go in and try to ask for $10? We just kick you out, right? So it's a different scenario, but their employees, they don't have this sort of business mindset, right? They just thought that, I can do it in Groupon, which means I can do it in McDonald's, which means I can do it in anywhere. But realistically, you are asking for coupons, you're not asking for cash, right? It's a totally different sales technique. And usually, if you can demonstrate, the sales funnel or sales strategy, and you won't be, sometimes myself, I'm lazy about sales. I always say that, I'm not the sales guy. I need some other sales. And then these sales guys come in, they will just scandals and fraud and tell you that, I'm busy meeting outside, I'm doing this and that, and actually they are fooling around. And they did nothing. But most of, I don't know, I see a lot of these cases. Right? But if you know it, then you can track down, hey, I know the sales cycle is 30 days. I know the probability of closing this is 10% in this month or 50% this month. And they won't manipulate you and tell you all different, different kinds of stories, and it's like making joke. So I think it's about instead of finding the right salesperson, I think it's important for you to set the right pricing for your product. So, for example, my team, they came out with a model that is $1,000 per month for minimum 6 months. They roll it out, it didn't work out. And I said, well, it's a pretty big commitment, $6,000, right? It's like US dollars. And I said, why don't you put it down, like try $199? And then, you know, they just launched last week. You know, it's a new startup, right? They launched last week, $199, and all the leads comes in. The lead says, okay, well, $199 to kickstart. We want to upgrade, and our budget is $50,000 US for 6 months. And I was like, wow. You know, the packaging really makes a deal. Like if you can package like, just like free subscription, right? You subscribe for a free trial, and then once you have this scalability, like low entry, and then they can scale up. So most of our business right now will like set, say, $200, like, you know, the most easy entry point, and then we have a 1,200. And if they want to scale up, we do 5,600. And then if they want enterprise, we put it to like 15 to 20,000 US. And then we ramp up on that. So you can, and if you can fix this right, any sales you bring in, they can actually sell. So make the sales. If you don't make this right, it's very difficult for you to sell the product.
That's why you need to do it yourself, otherwise you might regret it. So the business model has to be proven from you. When you feel comfortable, then you hire somebody that is with the right chemistry to execute the business model as you design.
Yeah, because I think like I've hired sales from SCMP, head sales of digital, 1.4 million Hong Kong annual salary. Came in and said, oh, you know what? I'm the head of SCMP. I did 200 million for SCMP, and I need a team of 7. I said, okay, fine, I'll give you 7 people. And then at the end of the 9 months, I lost 4 million. Nothing came back. So this is called top sales. Right? I thought, wow, top sales. Let's say he did 200 million in S&P. Let's say 10%, I'm happy, right? But not even 10%, I was like, damn.
So what was the lesson from there?
The lesson there is that don't trust the CV, don't trust the track record, because your business is unique. Even though in the same industry. Like NCNP and my company, we are almost the same. You know, we are selling digital, we are selling print, we are selling, you know, projects, events, same. But then when this guy came in and say, oh, you know what? Because you are not as good as NCNP, your brand is not good, you know, I need extra manpower, and you give them extra manpower. Oh, you know what, these sales, they are too, you know, they are senior people, you know, they need more traffic allowance, or they need more support from you, and if you can't give them, they'll just leave, and this and that, right? All these stupid things would come out.
I assume you will not hire such a person again.
And they can sell it, and they blame you, and oh, because your company, and then it's not that famous, no one knows about you. So you need to dump another $1 million to do branding for your company, and maybe you know spend another $500,000 to get all these awards, put it in the lobby, and I was like, so you know that's why I fire all my sales and say, hey, you know, no more joking. So better, you know, get myself. I'll be the sales. I'll be the front guy, so no one can actually, you know, trick me or give me stories that I believe. Because I'm a nice guy, I always believe people. So in the past, I always believe all my sales. But my sales would manipulate this commission scheme and play around with me. So they would like say, first quarter, and you know, he would do, oh, first quarter, bring in all the sales and stop for 2 months, get the bonus, and then go out and hit the sales target, be over 120%, so we get the bonus, and stop for 2 months. And then I was like, wow, you know, 6 months, I only have 2 months. But he get the bonus, which I have a negative loss. So they manipulate the game so smart. So sometimes, nowadays, I would spot for those really with passion. I'd rather they come in, I'll give them sweat equity or options, rather than just give them commission. Because commission, usually it's a very, you know, they manipulate or play around, and, you know, they don't sell it. Or if you, because we are in a more high level sales, our sales target usually is $500,000 to $1 million. It's hard to find. But if you find whole lot of like sort of junior sales, ask them to just close, okay, 10,000 your basic salary, hit 50 to 100K. I think that's fine, right? But if you want beyond that, I think it starts to be difficult. So usually, if the product sales size is small enough, then you can find a troops of like 30 sales. But you have to calculate your cost. I think cost is an issue as well, depending on your product. So my product, my big data product, after sales, we just click a button. There's no cost. One person sit there, generate the reports. That's done, right? But if it is our consultation services, we need like designers, we need programmers, we need after service, we need client servicing, and that is like burning money. We need at least 6 accounts per team to grow the business. So that is another business model. Yeah. So I think the price point, which is you competing with the market, is very important. Yes.
You mentioned you should be creative about money, right?
Yeah.
People are spending too easily. But at what point is it wise to spend money? Because you're just running out of time. Your time is really precious. So
I think when you need money or I'm not saying fundraising is not good or spending money is not good. I think at the beginning, as a startup, as a bootstrap mode, that I'm talking about. Once you want to take money, it's the time that you can take up market share, or you can scale, into a scalability into a mode that you cannot handle yourself. Say, if you scale your business fast enough that you fail, you would go bankrupt, then you should, raise funds, right? Because you can scale the market, you can take up the market share, and then it's time for you to get money from outside, and then it's time for you to spend other people's money and expand your market share and market and promote. But if you're not at that mode, or if you have no idea of, like, many of the startup entrepreneurs come in and say, hey Andy, I want to raise $1 million. For what? For Hong Kong market? Yeah. And I was like, you need $1 million for Hong Kong market? To a proof of concept? You don't need $1 million in Hong Kong dollars. Hong Kong is so small, like with 7 million people, maybe you need 200K, I think max, that everyone will know about you. But why would you need $1 million to do a proof of concept in Hong Kong? Are you building some sort of but most of these would be very, I don't know what kind of startup, but they always thought that, I built this, then I can scale into China. I built this, I can scale into Singapore. But scaling, it's not about talking, right? You have to be in that market in order to scale. Like how can you scale if you're not present in that? So once you are very confirmed of your business model, you have the right team. I think these are the 2 most important. Right team, right infrastructure, and then you are ready to scale. Then you should bring in money. You should bring in a whole massive of money, and bring more than enough that not only for you to work, but also enough burn rate for you to raise another round. Right? Or fast enough to have revenue flow in. It's either way, right? Once you spend $1 or expand, it's either revenue comes in so quickly before you burn out, or the valuation goes up so quickly before you burn out. Otherwise, you will just burn out. Right? Because you'll be spending more sales, more people, more marketing, more OPEX. And that's the only way, and you can't wait, The market doesn't wait for you. The market is like, okay, if 5 months you can prove yourself to grow exponentially, usually you're dead. Because competition will come in, wow, this is a good model. And then suddenly Tencent comes in and says, okay, I'll just duplicate. But now I have 800 million users doing the same thing. That kind of idea. So one of my partners, they started TalkBox. WeChat came in and said they want to acquire only for $2 million US. And my partner had TalkBox at 16 million. So he is so proud, I have 16 million, why would I sell to you 2 million? And WeChat said, okay, fine, we'll just build a platform faster, better, with more function, but with 800 million users. And then Taobao is gone, wiped out. So now this function, and they didn't have money to pay it, you know. And then Taobao, Tencent came up with this talking function. We were testing this talking function of the WeChat in 2006 and 7. And I was like, who would talk like this? But everywhere you see, everywhere talking like this.
So what is it doing now?
How
do they overcome this?
No, they just turned into enterprise, sell enterprise solutions to several schools. They serve 40 schools now, and that's it. No scalability, no market growth, just hanging there because they have few investors around, suffering, and they don't want to cut it. A little bit of revenue, not making big business. Yeah. So there's always these juggling. But hustle, I think, is the word. You talk to everyone, meet everyone you see, you pitch 100 times, and don't listen too much sometimes of the comments. I would always tell people about my ideas instead of hiding it. Because the more you tell, the more feedbacks, or even though they copy you better, you partner with them, bring in them as a co-founder, instead of I won't tell you it's a secret. Even though investors, you want to send over a PowerPoint and you ask them to sign an NDA, they will just kick you out, right? Why would I sign an NDA? So keep, modifying and improving. Thank you.